Welcome to the Know. I'm Brian.
And I'm Bryant.
Our names sound alike.
They do.
Man, all right. You might think that the 3DS is dead and buried at this point, but you would be wrong because while the system is approaching, I can't believe it, its 9th birthday, Nintendo insists the little handheld still got some life in it.
Yeah, in a recent report to investors, Nintendo says that they will continue to support the 3DS for the foreseeable future because people are still buying it.
Yeah, it's still selling surprisingly well despite being pretty old. No offense, 3DS, but money talks and Nintendo is clearly listening.
Of course, Nintendo already has a shiny new portable. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's called the Switch.
Oh, I hear good things.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
Yeah.
But it and the 3DS have some key differences, the company says.
In the presentation, Nintendo wrote that the 3DS is set apart from Nintendo Switch by its characteristics as a handheld game system that is lightweight, price-friendly, and highly portable.
That affordability is the major thing that separates the 3DS from the Switch, which makes sense, considering you can buy the new 2DS XL for less than half the cost of a Nintendo Switch.
Side note, the 3DS, we're going to call it 3DS throughout this video, but it's actually a family of systems now, which currently includes the new 3DS XL, the new 2DS XL, and the 2DS, the doorstop one, and they all come in a wide variety of colors, which they are still putting out because I guess people still buy them.
It's funny that you call it a doorstop because that's the perfect description of the size.
It's great. It's great for kids. They cannot destroy it.
Yeah.
Mine has tried.
Nintendo wrote, in the grand scheme of things, Nintendo 3DS has a prominent position as the product that can be served as the first contact between Nintendo and many of its consumers. And for this reason, will keep the business going.
So basically, they see it as an affordable entry device, which it definitely is. And at this point, the 3DS has a monster library of games, especially if you like RPGs, which is also a selling point.
And Nintendo definitely knows that, saying it is important to convey the existence of this rich assortment of Nintendo 3DS family titles and drive sales to new purchasers of the hardware. Our new consumers know that the evergreen titles will continue to be available, so we will do the utmost to foster sales opportunities.
Okay, but if they're going to keep it going, what about new games?
Well, believe it or not, there is still a steady trickle of games releasing for the 3DS. It's nothing like the Switch's release schedule, but it's still there.
I really thought Samus Returns, the Metroid 2, would be the last one. It was great, but I was like, this is the last game I'm ever going to play on my 3DS. Not true, though. The remake of Luigi's Mansion just released, and we have Mario and Luigi, Bowser's Inside Story, plus Bowser Jr.'s story, as well as Etrian Odyssey Nexus, Yokai Watch 3, and the final Shovel Knight DLC all coming out. So it does have some stuff.
Yeah, I mean, so why are they continuing to release new games for the 3DS in 2018? Well, because even after all of these years, the 3DS is still selling surprisingly well. According to Nintendo, it sold 1 million units in the last 6 months. That's insane.
So here's some context for those numbers, courtesy of Ars Technica. The Game Boy Advance sold just 420,000 units in its 8th calendar year, which is what the 3DS is in. And the DS sold 2.35 million units in its 8th year. That would be kind of comparable if you think of the 3DS goes on to sell 2 million units in the year. So the 3DS numbers actually pretty good when you look at its ancestors and how they did during the same point in their lifespan. It's tailing off definitely, but there's still sales there.
Yeah. In all, the 3DS has sold more than 73.5 million units. Let's just repeat that real quick.
That's
73.5 million units, which is an impressive total considering that lots of people thought that the dedicated handheld couldn't survive in the world of iPhones and Android phones.
I remember when it came out in 2011 and people were like, nobody will buy this anymore. It's done. It's not going to do what the DS did. And the DS did sell twice as much, but 73 million is still great. To give you some more perspective, that's more than the original NES, the Super NES, the Nintendo 64, and the GameCube sold. So not hard to see why Nintendo wants to keep that base of players around.
But on the other hand, the 3DS's graphics are looking pretty dated in 2018. And they weren't anything special when the handheld launched back in 2011, but they're really showing their age right now.
You know what? It did manage to outlast the PS Vita, though, and that had much better graphics. It was a great machine, but it was graphically superior, but the 3DS skunked it.
True, but we're now seeing signs that some of the biggest franchises are starting to move off the 3DS and onto the Switch, like Pokemon, for example. All of the upcoming games, the Let's Go title and the unnamed 2019 game, are all coming to the Switch. We haven't had a brand new Pokemon game on the 3DS since last year's Ultra Sun and Moon, and nothing's been announced either.
Not just Pokemon, though. Other franchises like Etrian Odyssey, we mentioned them before, they are moving on. The latest game in that franchise, Etrian Odyssey Nexus, is coming to the West in February. It's out already in Japan. But developer Atlas has made it clear this is going to be the franchise's last game on the 3DS.
But while some franchises have moved on, Nintendo clearly has not. And while the hardware might not be getting any younger, as long as people keep buying the 3DS, Nintendo will still put games out on it.
Most definitely. That's how this works. What do you guys think of Nintendo's commitment to keep supporting the 3DS? Do you still play yours? What do you play? That's what I want to know. Let us know in the comments.
And for all of your Nintendo and 3DS news, like this video, subscribe to The Know, and don't forget to hit us up on the website, theknow.tv.
I have 8 3DSs. I have 8.
I have mine and the doorstop one.
But some key differences, the company says.
In a presentation, why did I fuck that up? Okay.